Welcome back to Midwest Esports Formula 1 Division 1 tonight, week 12 of 15 in season 11, I believe, of Racing League.
So many numbers.
Too many to keep up at this point. You're getting into like anthologies of books and all of that. So it's race 12. It's going to be exciting. It's in Portugal. I haven't raced this one too much, and I know you haven't either.
No, I've obviously seen Portimao. I've seen the famous uphill section, and know of the track. But yeah, this is not one that either of us have in our back pocket by any means. So it will be fun to watch the drivers. I genuinely don't know what parts are great for overtaking. Where the action zones are going to be. So it's going to be a fun kind of raw call here tonight. When is it a well-rehearsed call? Anyways, so Never. It is going to be a blast. We have the drivers loading in as we speak to get ready for their one and only Q1 and only. We do have quite a bit to go over here in qualifying today. We have some ad reads from MidWest. That's always fun. But we do have some stewards' findings and reports from last race in Jeddah at Jeddah. The most notable was an incident between Tinel and Gott Palmer, and upon review, the stewards agreed that no penalty was to be incurred at turn 1, despite having understeer. It was like a Cody's issue where the two drivers were kind of considerable overlap before the corner entry. Tinel then turned in with no margin of error, and then contact occurred. The Codys took over, and there was no opportunity to go any tighter there. So that was no further action. However, upon review of that claim, the stewards found that Gott Palmer, in his final push for the finish line, actually went all four wheels off track in order to gain the momentum that then gave him the considerable boost to get past Tinel and race day, meaning the penalty was not issued for the original claim, but it was issued for a subsequent claim, and Gott Palmer pays the heavy price there with a 10-second time penalty and 2 license points. So brutal one for Gott Palmer there. He obviously loses the title from last week's race. I do not have the official updated standings following Stewart's findings, but race day was the official winner following Stewart review last week. There was an issue with Nikki and Fireballer, but that was nothing. It was just a racing incident. And then Nikki and Bobbert Yates both had an incident there. Yates crossed the diverging white lines as he cut the pit entry. He was assessed a 5-second time penalty and 1 license point. He will also receive 1 additional license point for no POV view of the race. So in summary, Gott Palmer 10 seconds and 2 license points, and Bobbert Yates 5 seconds and 2 license points. That was the end of Division 1 findings. Gott Palmer also appealed his call, but that was it was held. The call was held, and Gott Palmer lost one of his 2 appeals on the season. That is all of the back-end paperwork that I have for you tonight before we head to the track. And here we are, just a little past 16 minutes. We join just about 40 seconds into Q1 and only, on board now with Fireballer in that wonderful Williams. Today's substitutes, I believe there is only one, and that is Nikki, who is out in the Alpine. So in that seat will be none other than Mac racing for Alpine tonight. And it is notable that Mac does have a qualifying ban tonight due to a license penalty point accumulation. So the Plum 9171 down at the bottom of the pack in that Alpha Tauri will kind of just hang out. He will not be able to qualify, and he will just shore up the back of the pack here tonight. So there we go. That is all of the paperwork out of the way. Let's get into tonight's action.
Is that the Mac or the Plum that had the quality ban? Because now I'm confused with 2 new names here.
Yeah, so do we have... Oh, my bad. Okay,
Mac
so
is the sub for Nikki, right?
Yeah, my bad. I can't read. Mac is the sub for Alpine, who, will remain in the pits for the entire... Yeah, we will not see that Alpine that is currently in 12th enter the track. The Plum was a last-minute substitute for which I did not receive all of that. But give me 1 second, and I'll find who he's in for. Everyone that knows the league and the division is probably screaming at me right now.
That's okay. When do we do our research?
Oh,
We
sorry.
do, and then it goes all out the window.
So, it looks like Ryan Rodds was pushed out. He relinquished his seat, and the Plums is now in full-time for AlphaTauri. So, there we go.
Got it.
Good.
Yeah. Trevor's saying it might be a bit of a wet one today. It is looking a little hazy. Maybe a Pittsburgh gray, a nice fog out there on the track.
Yeah, it was real hazy in Maryland today as well. It still is outside, looking pretty ominous with the street lights. But yeah, unfortunate here. All of the drivers share the same GIF anytime it's raining, and it's that one of, it looks like a weatherman standing outside of a car with like a paintball mask on, and he's just getting absolutely manhandled by Mother Nature. So yeah, anytime you see that jump into the chat, it's always a bit of a white knuckler. No one wants to see that, of course, especially the fans that paid big money to sit up on that hill tonight. But yeah, we'll deal with it. We will get through. And Palmer gets through fastest with a 1:16.243 to set pace here in Portugal.
Williams are out there cooking right now.
Oh yeah, cooking with peanut oil. We are just about 12 minutes to go. And you see all of the cautions interrupting the watch, interrupting the clock there due to drivers yielding on track. But we are, I am at least, just enjoying these liveries while they last, as we're seeing some of these cars, the new cars coming out for the 24 season. Looking forward to it, but there are some on track tonight that I will definitely miss in the next version of the game, especially this Williams with the Duracell. I really hope they keep the Duracell logo on the intake.
I think they've got to keep that. I also saw rumors,
right?
Or maybe rumors are just too much speculation, that Aston Martin's moving away from the acid lime green and moving it towards more of a darker gold highlight accent.
Okay, I like that.
Not sure though. I think they were just, they posted pictures of some tools and helmets, and it's that JCB yellow, maybe a bit darker. We'll see.
I like that a lot more. It gives more of a regal feel. It gives more of like a Rolex kind of feel. Different brand, but still that same kind of royalty. I mean, look at that right on the corner. Tell me that doesn't look better than the acid green there.
Yeah. Oh, I would love those colors.
Absolutely. I thought you were going to say they were moving away from the iconic green, and I was like, ah!
Oh, no.
I was like, give me a second.
Can't move Aston Martin green or the gray that you get from James Bond, but green is like their iconic color.
Yeah, 100%.
If they changed the Aston Martin team name, I would probably not be a fan anymore.
Cool. That big, huh?
I'll say it.
Shoo! You heard it here first. Leaving that bandwagon real quick. Well, we are hoping that anyone watching the chat, especially New Phone, who does, I see you, Bone Crusher. What's up, executive producer? What's up, Ellie? We will be reading some ads throughout today's event, and we may also be joined by Commissioner himself. We are standing by to see if we can get Commish on the line during today's live stream for what he deemed a very special announcement or update for MidWest eSports. However, we do have some housekeeping from the ranks. If you think you have what it takes to join one of the grids at MidWest eSports, the Gran Turismo 7 divisions are looking for a few more drivers to fill out their upcoming seasons. This is a super fun group. Mitch and I have both raced with them in the past. They are wonderful. And they have 3 separate divisions. So throughout the week, on Mondays, they're going to be racing the LMPs, specifically the Mazda LM55. This sort of spec division, again, races Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central. They also have the Midwest Porsche Super Cup, the one that Mitch and I competed in over the holiday break. That is going to race. That that division will race Fridays at 8:30 Central, and the GR3 division rounds out the week on Saturdays. That will also start at 8:30 Central. Both of those divisions have yet to start their season, so it is the perfect time to get those cars looking sharp and sign on for the season. Oh, did I mention that the LMP and GR3 divisions will both have prizes for their top 3 in driver standings at the end of the season? With no entry fees and no parts and labor to worry about, what is there to lose, guys? I mean, come on. If you're a Midwest eSports Discord member, you can easily sign up by pressing the red button on your remote or just, hopping into any of those division chat channels. So if you are looking for the perfect entry into Midwest racing, consider the Gran Turismo series. Mitch, you and I, like I said, we both raced the Midwest Porsche Super Cup. It was a tiny, I believe it was a 3-week or 3-event series. We raced 3 races a night for 3 weeks, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did that over the holidays. It was perfect to unwind. I like Porsche Super Cup because you got standard cars. Everyone's driving the same thing, so you don't have to worry about as much. You do an endurance league where you're doing tune-ups and bidding on cars, and that's also fun, but it can be very hectic sometimes.
Yeah, and you are also currently running a GR3 series, correct? In a different league, but same cars.
Yeah, same cars, just teams used, or like each team has a different car.
Have you run an LMP season yet?
I have not. Interesting. Ooh, yeah, Bobber Yates going off track, drawing the attention from us. But I've raced him in the game, not a league. GR3 is the only one I've found since my week's pretty busy. So Sunday night is the perfect and only night that I can do league racing, and we're doing GR3 right now.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, I would want to get into the LMPs. That is something that I've never tried my hand at, but it is a lot of fun. Those Porsches are a ton of fun. We were running the 2017 spec. They were just so much fun to rip around the track. Even though I was blue flagged every single race I joined, it was worth it. I didn't leave one of those events saying, could have done better. That was really not fun to do. Even blue flagging, I had a blast.
Yeah. And we did get the other announcement too. The commish himself is in the YouTube chat. Can't join the live stream, but he did send me the full announcement to read out. I gotta try. I didn't write it up as fancy as you did with all of the advertisements.
You're good. Let's hit it once now. We'll hit both of the ads during qualifying, and then we'll hit it during the race as well, because I know some people tune in after the live stream throughout the week, and they just jump right into the race. So we'll be sure to hit both of these twice tonight.
I'm also going to hazard a guess that we'll get a red flag, not a red flag, yellow flag at some point, safety car, where we can read these out again. But straight from Pork Chops, after experiencing all of the fun that the iRacing special event endurance races provide, he has joined forces with a few other league owners of different racing games, and they've created a special event style series. So this will be an Assetto Corsa Competizione ACC endurance series that will have races either 5 or 10 hours long. Now, they've worked out a simple and short schedule where they'll have one race every 2-ish months. It'll be teams-focused series too, so you don't think you have to drive the whole 5 or 10 hours. You just got to saddle up a team that can do it. But he does say if you're a psycho who wants to, you can do it solo. This will also be crossplay active series, and crossplay only works to new-gen consoles as far as you know, so PS5 and Xbox Series X. So it won't be PS4, Xbox One, or PC. More info will be incoming, but first race may be in April or May, and the invite to the server will come out soon.
Wow. The iRacing special event that Commish is talking about was the Daytona 24-hour series, which I believe we ran 2 Midwest cars, one GR3 and one LMP, and I believe the LMP finished second out of the entire grid. So we have some serious drivers in the league already. But this is going to be a blast, not only to watch, but just to watch. I cannot picture myself sitting in my office chair for 5 or 10 hours in one go, just ripping around the same circuit. Power to these teams who are going to sign up for this. It's going to be a blast to sit here and maybe commentate some of them.
If I played ACC, I would maybe consider it. I wonder what the longest you can do in GT7 is, just to, do it like one of those last man physically in his seat wins the race. Because you can't do driver changes. But I think you can in ACC, which is nice, where you can join as a team, even if you're not in the same room, and swap drivers at a pit stop like you would in a real endurance race.
I may be talking out of my behind right now, my rear diffuser, but I think ACC is the cheaper of the two. I think it's only like 10 or 15 bucks to buy. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Assetto Corsa Competizione is not the full game Assetto Corsa. It is just pretty much online racing, bare bones. So I think it's really stripped down. So you may want to look into that if you want to try your hand at one of these cars. I'll definitely be your crew chief. I'll talk to you.
There we go. You know what? I'll drive a 5-hour stint if you crew chief for me.
100%. Yeah, I'll drive out to Pittsburgh. I'll just watch all of your readouts while you're in VR.
Why don't you just drive out here and then we can physically swap in the driver's seat?
Who would know?
How
would they know?
I think that's fine. That's in the rules. You're swapping drivers anyways.
It should be fine. The last time that I got into your sim rig, I broke the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Dismembered the entire thing with one twist of a knob. So that may be a dastardly plan. We have what is going on there with Bobbert Yates kind of just wiggling the tail. Okay, from that angle, it looked really funky. He was just trying to get some heat in there.
Porkchop's also mentioning in the comments that the league owner they're partnering with is the one that runs the GT7 league that I'm in. And I race with Ray and Kate Thomas, and I think someone else as well.
Oh, shout out to Ghost, shout out Ray and everyone else over there. What's the league name?
United E-Racing. It's right in front of me. I have it open in Discord right now.
It's not as good as MidWest, but shout out to those guys over there as well.
It is just as good as MidWest.
There you go.
That's because Ghost, the owner of that league, is also on my team and was last season.
Way to cover your butt. Oh, yeah, it does not look like the weather is clearing up here in Portugal. It is just dreary, like Mitch said earlier. That Pittsburgh gray that we all grew up with, some of us are still experiencing on a daily basis. Yeah, man. Going to be a cold track today, but these guys are still running with pace. We see all of the main players up top. The Plums in that AlphaTauri is sitting quite high up there in 7th place, now 8th, as T-Nell enters the chat. But will be interesting to see what AlphaTauri can do here with just a few races to go in the season with their low ranks. Will the Plums be able to shake up the standings and move them up the grid at all? Looks like Cynical and Sui, Houdini, and obviously Mac have finished their qualifying for the day. We are just 15 seconds to go in Q1 and only. GSR Edwin took the fastest lap from Gott Palmer, who has closed his stint for qualifying. GSR Edwin going 1:16.017. So close to that 1:15 mark.
Man, I don't know if we'll have much movement here at the end because time is running out. We already have several of the checkered flags. Grenzy went into the pits. GSR Edwin in the pits currently with the fastest time, 1:16.017. Race day, the Ferrari currently in third. Won last week after Gott Palmer got dropped down from his penalty. Looking to do it once more, keep Ferrari up on top, and goes into the pits. He will settle with third place for the start.
Yes, and thank you to Bacon, who clarified the Daytona 24 last week. MidWest had one GT3 team, which finished somewhere in the middle of the pack, and two GTPs, which both finished on the podium, both P2 and P3. So MidWest definitely making a name for themselves over in iRacing. Like Mitch said, and you will hear it later in today's broadcast, there will be an upcoming endurance league that will be headed up by Pork Chops and Ghost. So stay tuned for more info on that. Long form racing, man. Are you hardcore or are you hardcore?
I think I'm hardcore. I just saw my mom saying, "Set it up, boys." I think my mom and your dad could be our crew chief.
Oh, God.
For a 5 or 10 hour endurance race. Imagine that power combination.
As much as I love my dad, I do love to hate him as a coach. So that would be a lot. I'm not going to say it would be bad. It would just be a lot.
Yeah, I think they'd have some different styles too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there are the standings for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Q1 and only sees GSR Edwin atop the grid, followed by Gott Palmer, Race Day, and Scarenzi to close out the front two lines. This is our lineup. We are under racing in some weather here in Portugal. Coming up next, it is week 12 of MidWest eSports Formula One Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. Welcome back, race fans, to a gray and dreary Portimao circuit. It's the legendary Portuguese Grand Prix. Tonight's contest is a high-stakes showdown with the standings tighter than ever. Every corner counts, every overtake screams, and in week 12 of this season, every point carries the weight of a champion's crown. Buckle up, because this roller coaster is ticking up the hill. Tonight, we're being treated to a 2.89 miles of pure adrenaline, snaking through the hills like a silver serpent. These 15 corners will test the pack's precision with 2 DRS zones and, of course, the iconic Portimao climb. This ain't a spin for the faint of heart. As always, it's a test of skill, strategy, and sheer guts. And now, before the green flag drops and the battle for glory begins, we're going to hand it over to the Oracle of Statistics to break down the leaderboard and see who's got the edge in tonight's Coastal Showdown. Mitch?
Well, we had a riveting race last week, which has shaken up the standings once again. Aston Martin had some trouble with a DNF and Scarenzi finishing in 5th, so they are now 130 points behind Ferrari in 1st. Red Bull also moved up into 3rd over Alpine after Sharia Coleslaw and Bacon took home 6th and 7th. We had McLaren jumping over AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo jumping over Haas in the bottom, trading some spaces. We also had Race Day and Ferrari taking home the victory after the stewards' reports were done. So in the Drivers' Championship, Race Day is now ahead of Scarenzi by 11 points, with Gott Palmer in 3rd, Sharia Coleslaw in 4th, and Callie Robb in 5th. So it's just 4 races to go. Ferrari is on top, but it's raining, so anything could happen today.
Rain jackets on, boots tied tight, lights out is next. From a very, very wet Portugal Grand Prix, this is MidWest eSports Formula One Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. What is up with all the weather this season, man? When are we going to have a nice, clear, calm, warm, sunny race? It's either been nighttime or just a monsoon.
You know what? Just race in the rain at this point. It's fun. You never know what's going to happen, right?
That's true. It does make for a very interesting shakeup nonetheless. So we are under formation here. GSR Edwin atop the grid, followed by Gott Palmer, Race Day, Scarenzi, and T-Nell. 3 of those 5 were atop the podium last week, but if you missed it in qualifying, Gott Palmer was assessed a scorching 10-second penalty for cutting the track in order to gain the win over Race Day and T-Nell last week in Jeddah. So Race Day did walk away with a Ferrari win. T-Nell with silver, I believe. Gott Palmer with third. I could be wrong on those official standings. However, Gott Palmer was not the winner. So will he be able to get by GSR Edwin in those silver arrows today to reclaim his spot atop the leaderboard, atop the podium? We'll see.
It's going to be tricky out there. We have everyone starting on intermediate tires, so you have to see if the rain is going to back off later in the race, get harder, or just stay like this the entire time. It makes this, from what I do remember driving this track, there are a few tricky corners just based on the way that they're shaped. I think they're coming up to some here in just a minute with GSR Edwin up in front. So I couldn't imagine doing it in the rain because you're already tough with the lack of downforce and with the way the corners shaped. And then once you add some water to them, you are at risk to spin out.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure how well the rain and the water physics are in F123, but you would think that a higher elevation course, this course really does, it's very hilly. It's up and down through the entire thing. So you would think that that would allow these drivers to, use these intermediates, keep, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to read and speak at the same time. You would think that the rain wouldn't pool up and make the entire track an ice skating rink with all of the hills. There are going to be pools and there are going to be drier sections. You would think so, but we'll have to see. Wow, that was painful. I am so sorry.
I'll forgive you.
I
Just
don't know if
nail this red light call.
Oh, okay. No pressure. Well, here we go. Week 12 from Portugal is underway. The Portimao circuit drenched in a very thick layer of rain as GSR Edwin heads down the straight with Gott Palmer. It's Race Day and Scarenzi battling for 3rd and 4th. They have ironed that out. Race Day takes the advantage. T-Nell now getting past Scarenzi. Scarenzi now in a battle for 4th. Will these two be able to figure this out? Look at Scarenzi right on the tail of Race Day, looking for an early lap 1 overtake to get up into the top 3. GSR Edwin still atop the grid, followed by Gott Palmer. Race Day now getting a bit of an interval between him and Scarenzi, getting almost 0.2 of a second, which with Scarenzi scooting up your tail, it could mean, life or death.
It's just so scary how close he can get to people without, moving an inch or causing an incident, really. He's just perfect at riding, getting that front under the rear end of your car, pretty much. Not scared about you and your braking.
No. He's reading the FIA sticker on the back of your jumpsuit there.
He's taking the measurements to see if your body height is within regulation or not during the race.
Hey, buddy, is that a new mole on the back of your neck there? I want to get that one checked out afterwards. Well, here we go. Thankfully, we are flag free here in the first lap of today's race. GSR Edwin taking fastest at a 1:33. We'll see how long that holds. If the track improves, track conditions improve at all, we definitely will see an improvement of that lap. But GSR Edwin is taking some very, very wide open laps right now. Going to try and beat that fastest lap himself as we get underway here. Race Day now closing in on Gott Palmer here at the end of Sector 1. Will he be able to overtake? He is. He's going to go in on the inside, getting past Gott Palmer there. Very clean move, especially during the rain. You really have to nurse those brakes and make sure that you're not spinning out. Looks like he metered his acceleration perfectly through that zone. That was a textbook overtake, especially heading downhill in the wet.
Such a confident move from him. Looks like his teammate Cali Robb and the other Ferrari is lining up for a pass on Aero Racing Design as they head into the start of Sector 3 on this course. Unless the rain cleans up, we won't be getting DRS, so this is just going to be a true test of how brave you are in the rain.
Honestly, yeah. It is, it's the ultimate, like, equalizer here, you know, because you get one yellow flag and whatever interval you had between the driver in front of you and behind you is gone. So that is what we are going to be not hoping for, but looking out for. Race day setting a blistering improvement to that fastest lap of the 1:29.8. He is absolutely shot out of a cannon right now, really putting the pressure on GSR Edwin down the straight. Will he be able to take him on the inside? Race day trying to push past. GSR Edwin holding that line as best he can. Edwin's going to take the inside this time. Will Race Day be able to revisit and mirror that overtake he had on Gott Palmer last lap? Here we go. He's going to try inside once again. Will it be enough? He slides just a bit. Not enough. GSR Edwin gets through. Gott Palmer also gets by. Race Day tried it twice in a row. Got burned the second time. Like I said, it is really dicey, especially to be heading downhill into that braking zone, into that corner. It worked the first time, not so much the second time. I'm sure that will not be the last time we see Race Day try something like that here tonight.
Race Day is on something here at the start of the race. He was in front of GSR Edwin for a little bit on lap 2, and then Edwin took it back from him going across the finish line, heading back into turn 1. Race Day is already challenging to move back up into the second, so maybe we won't see drivers pull too far away right now at the same tire compounds, and with this kind of traffic getting a bit backed up. That's Edwin's only hope right now, with Gott Palmer, Race Day, and Scarinzi all battling each other. Maybe that will start to slow them down just a smidge.
Yeah, you can only hope for a bit of gum behind you, someone to make a move well in your rear view. Mitch, I was learning myself some lore and some backstory on the grid today. Did you know that Race Day is the youngest competitor, I believe, in the entire Formula One series here at MidWest eSports, but definitely in Division 1?
I did not know that. Where'd you find this out?
I saw it in the general chat, in paddock chat here. Race Day, 17 years old in the Ferrari right there. Going to be 18 later this year. But I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine having that kind of driving skill at 17 years old? I mean, I was driving in real life. I was not sim racing yet. He's got to be stellar on that Cinderella license.
Yeah, that is incredible with how consistently he's up here at the top, taking home a couple victories so far this season and challenging some of the best week after week.
Well, I'm saying, it's wonderful.
Bone Crusher saying he's channeling Max Verstappen for sure. Yes.
Yeah, Bone Crusher is a massive Race Day fan. He has, unlike Mitch, with the wavering confidence of the Aston Martin livery, his fandom hangs in the balance of the shade of green that's on the car. Bone Crusher, Race Day through and through here for the last 2 seasons at least.
Well, it was good to cheer for. We had in Steep, we had a young competitor too, right?
Yeah, it was.
There were a couple.
Was it Snicks?
It might have been.
That was too young to do the first trip.
That might have been. I think that started with an M. That's too far away. That might have been Mystic or someone. Back to racing.
Yeah. That sounds about right. But yeah, back to racing. Hey, I think the majority of our watching audience knows what we're talking about. It's a deep cut. It's a 7-year-old deep cut, but I'm pretty sure some people were following along at home. Bone Crusher. We are also Zaps. Yeah, thank you. We are also celebrating today, on the very day, 6 years ago, we were in Poland with Bone Crusher recording the first ever Olympics, Olympics sanctioned, Winter Olympics sanctioned esports competition for the video game Steep. That was wonderful. Bone Crusher, one of the competitors, spoiler alert, he won and was able to go to the opening ceremonies of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. But yeah, 6 years ago to the day, we're having our first day at the studio in Poland. So that's a lot of fun that we're all still here live streaming. Sorry, now we can go back to racing action.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And it's all right. We've had race day. Got Palmer battling for second and third. Got Palmer's going to move into second right now. After that move, top 9 positions are where they were at the start of the race. Now, down below, we have some shakeups. We have Bacon, Cynical, Gunner all dropping 7 to 9 positions, and Mac in the Alpine jumping up 8 from 20th to 12th. I believe he had the qualifying bid in.
Yes, yeah, Mac did. He is fighting against all odds here today. Eyes should definitely, one of those eyes should be focused down there in 12th on Mac, see what he can do for the rest of today's race. But Houdini as well for the McLarens, moving up 4 positions. We typically see Houdini do this during the early stages of the race. Hopefully there's no DNF or anything that causes that to change here today for the McLarens. Yeah, Houdini also making some money moves here in the early stages of today's contest. We are on lap 6 of 33 here in a very dreary Portugal. And race day has now dropped into 4th. T-Nell and race day now going back and forth. T-Nell looks to be dropping significantly. Not sure if it was probably on account of the rain, but these two are now going to go toe to toe. Aero Racing Design and T-Nell down the straight. It's Aero Racing. It's T-Nell. Who is it? Who has the lead? Coming down into turn 1, T-Nell has the lead on the outside. He's going to go wide and receive a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Multiple warnings there, but he will hold on to 5th for now. He's really going to have to push to try and get that difference between him and Aero Racing up if he wants to maintain in 5th. We did see Mac, along with Electric Blade, really just slipping and sliding. There are a couple of severe challenge points here in the rain, and these drivers are starting to, it's dangerous. The start of the race, everyone's a little on edge. You just want to kind of get the order sorted out and get to driving under speed. You want to avoid any early safety cars, any early DNFs. But now the drivers are starting to get into their rhythm. They're going to start pushing. They're going to start finding the driest lane, following the car in front. So this is where you're going to start to see the cars sliding out as they try and find the limits of these corners in the conditions. It could get dicey, as we saw with Aero Racing earlier and Electric Blade just a lap ago.
Yeah, you got spots like the curbs and the strips on the outside that are very slick in the rain. And then you can see the driving line starting not to dry up, but at least less wet than the rest of the track because those tires are doing a good job of flinging all of the water away. So you'll find some good grip there. At a certain point, the track can be too dry for wet tires and you got to go back into water. But you can see to the right next to the pit lane, it is very damp and you would start to lose traction. So even though you don't have to worry about which tire to change onto right now, you really have to worry about where you are on the track.
Yeah, and Aero Racing Design is yet to find that as he drops now from 6th down to 9th, letting a few drivers by, including Robert Yates and the Plums, who is still up in 7th. Here we go, Aero Racing trying to get back into it with an overtake on one of the Alpha Tauris, but it's just not enough for the Alpine.
Mac and Sharia Coleslaw are now going wheel to wheel, going up the hill and then right back down. The top crest is also, I can imagine, very dangerous because you were losing all of, can't think of the word right now. I was going to say gravity, but that's not changing. It'll feel like you're losing gravity because the G forces will be
negative G's.
Up. Yes. And so the car will lift off the track a little bit. You don't want to steer too hard at that point.
Yeah, that is definitely the zero gravity moment there for the drivers. You want to make sure that you're strapped real tight into your seat there so you are not jostling around in the cockpit. But yeah, definitely a jackrabbit whoop-de-hop there right at the end.
That's the name.
We got to have one.
So we have both Alpines challenging the cars in front of them directly, aero racing on the tail of Fireballer. And you can see Mac trying to go around Sharia Coleslaw, both of them on the inside. Oh, not anymore for aero racing design as he goes off track a bit and will drop down into 12th behind his teammate Mac.
We'll have to see. Was there any contact there? It was brief. He did right himself fairly quickly, but I wasn't sure if that was a rebound on the wall or not.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell. I think he recovered. Also can't tell if it was internet just, dragging him further than he should have, but I think he recovered. His car seems to be okay. I can see every part that I should.
Yeah, we got 10 fingers, 10 toes, 1 wing. We're good. 2 wings.
Both fins.
Yeah, we're okay. Aero racing with a really scary spin out into the grass. The grass is not almost. It is worse than the sand traps, especially in the rain. That is just slick. You don't bleed a lot of speed whenever you spin out through wet grass. So definitely not the spot for it, but he is back in action. He is going to try and get back with his teammate Mac as they're looking to make some serious moves here in the middle of the pack. Mac just sniffing up the tail of Sharia Coleslaw. They go down the finish straight. I'm sorry, that visually was just very disturbing. And Mac is going to do the same thing, spinning out into the grass, different spot, but same outcome. Be careful not to contact with your teammate.
Yeah, he got back on track, so he is good, and GSR Caesar is right behind him in the Mercedes. I think he's going to go for a move, but a little overconfident and loses that spot. That's going to cause Houdini in the back to have to slow up a little bit and go wide. So Caesar was looking at a great opportunity, and the car was not ready for it.
And it is always rough. You're trying to dip in. I saw exactly what he was doing. He tried to correct his course. But it looked like he held on to that turn just a bit too long and did not apply enough brakes on a straight axle. So unfortunate there for GSR Caesar, but he will definitely have another opportunity in this race, I'm sure, to try that overtake again. It is that corner. It's not an easy one. It's very enticing to try and overtake there. It makes sense, late braking, really swoop into that. You have a long bleed off on the outside to, really get the most of that corner. But under these conditions, it turns into a completely different thing. So it's kind of a mirage heading down there every lap.
Yeah, I'll have to point out the corner again so I can visualize that, but just so challenging right now in the rain. I believe it was downhill too, right?
Yes, absolutely is downhill.
So you do have less brake force. You want to wait until it's going uphill. You'll get a lot more traction, but in that case, if you're doing a late brake and it's raining, you might not be able to wait until it starts to go back uphill to hit the brakes. But if you do it too early, you're going to lock up.
Well, you might not be able to make the turn. Like if you're carrying way too much speed, you're not going to be able to turn your wheel for anything, like we just saw there with Caesar. Yeah, that definitely a point of difficulty here in today's race. We've seen multiple drivers have challenges with that corner. I want to thank everyone watching live and everyone watching after today's live stream. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I've seen the views on these. We're like 150 consistent on the F1 races every week. So thank you very much to all the drivers and fans who are following this on a weekly basis. It is so much fun to cover this action with you as race day tries to get past Scott Palmer on the straight. No DRS needed. Will he be able to do it? He won't. But we have seen race day make some moves, shake it up in this early sector 1 in these corners. So will Race Day be able to take his inside line around this corner as we've seen him attempt twice before? We're going to see it here soon. 5-second penalty for error racing. Speeding in the pit lane, that is a big no-no. Just ask Robert Yates. Here we go. It's this one right here.
Yeah, that one is going to ruin some races. Can imagine too pulling into the pit lane in the wet tires. And try to slow down to the limit right at the line, and sometimes you overshoot that a little bit and take home 5-second penalty.
Yeah, it happens. I can't. I'm joking. All jokes here. I'm not making a comment. I would not be able to get one of these cars off of the starting grid with no assists. So
yeah, no.
Do better, guys. Come on.
We have to do manual pit entry, not even into the box, but just into pit lane in Gran Turismo 7. And I know you've done that, and that can be terrifying on some courses.
Yeah.
Like
never fun.
Bathurst. Why you have to be like that? That might be one of the worst offenders. It's like a 130-degree turn left downhill after you go into the pit lane. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry. I was typing. I couldn't do both at the same time. I did not have my coffee today.
I can't see you, so I'm sometimes left wondering.
Zero sugar, strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper. It's just as gross as it sounds.
What are you talking about?
Okay, no, it's a delicious drink. And I drank too many of them last week. And if anybody knows, wait, there was a red car that was spun out back a ways. It was either T-Nell or Cali Rob having some issues there, 5th and 6th. I just saw it in the end of the frame, but no harm, no foul. They're both back on track. I drank too many of these in a week, and if anyone is familiar with the famous internet lore of the sugar-free Haribo gummy bears, it wasn't quite that intense, but it was definitely not a fun week drinking a lot of zero sugar novelty flavored Dr. Pepper. It was not a fun time at all. It's delicious. Just be careful. I'm really scared to drink this. But back to racing. Sorry, Scavney, 3-second time penalty for track limits. Look at all those black and whites just accumulating here. No surprise, again, under the conditions. But those may have some serious ramifications on the final standings. Look at Scott Palmer just absolutely cruising here past race day, keeping him in his place. We saw T-Nell head into the pits for a new set of inters.
So I was looking if Scott Palmer shot out of the pit lane like that or not, because I didn't see him in the angle before.
That leads me to believe that it was T-Nell that we saw slip. He may have been repairing something in the front wing or some other part of his car. It didn't look like any contact. I don't know. I might be talking up a big nothing burger. I really thought I saw something. I saw Haas. Haas spun out, though. That's Electric Blade in the corner. He is completely backwards, not where you want to be. He's going to try and spin it, pull a little Scarenzi move there, and spin himself around and re-enter action. But unfortunate spin there for the Haas. That drops him down in the back of the pack.
It's like he is back on track safely. I was getting a little itchy waiting for Cynical to come around that corner and see what the Haas was up to, but everything was A-okay.
Bacon's going to set the fastest on inters. It's a 1:2.95. And Mitch, was it Scarenzi or was it I believe it was one of your racers in your GR3 league that had an issue with spinning the car like 180 to rejoin the track. They called an infraction, and then he submitted a bunch of
That was Scarenzi.
It was Scarenzi. Okay, all right. It was a fair reference. All right, sweet.
Yes, you got it. Bone Crusher heading out for the night too, but thank you for the wonderful support and the compliment with our professional commentary. I think it's gotten more professional in setup, but I don't know about the words that we say.
Cheers, Bones. Thank you. I think the words have gotten way more casual, but I don't know. I think it goes into the pacing and the production as well. That speaks leaps and bounds. It also helps that we're running some really nice mics just to make us sound professional as well.
On the downside, I've been waiting to take a bite of my cookie since the race started because I realized that it's going to take a while to chew.
No cookie for you. Hey, nope. On the downside as well, Electric Blade has left the session. We're not sure if that is going to be able to be rectified. We'll wait and see if Blade will be able to return to tonight's race. Unfortunate snap there, regardless of issue. Bacon setting another fastest lap with a 1:2.91. He shaved 0.4 off in a single lap. Is this track starting to dry out ever so slightly, or has Bacon just found the number?
He might have just found the number on that car. And we'll see if he had to have stopped, right? He is on newer tires, so we'll see if he can improve his position a little bit. He is down 6 from where he started, but he did take an early pit stop compared to some of the other drivers out there. We also got the community announcement officially from Pork Chops. Again, he's teamed up with a few other racing league owners to start an Assetto Corsa Competizione endurance series with races that are 5 or 10 hours long. The races will be once every 2 months or so. It's a team-focused series. If you're crazy, though, you can do them solo. It's cross-play, so it'll be on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. And he did post the link to the Discord server for that league. It is the North American eSports Coalition.
All right, so you sign up by yourself. You're insane. You hate your existence, and you decide to sign up for a 10-hour race yourself. How are you preparing for that race? Are you wearing a Camelback for like water supply? Are you wearing a diaper? What is happening there? Who is that insane that signs up for 10 hours of just sat and doing this?
A 10-hour yourself would be a little much.
Yeah.
However, I think I could do it.
Would you? How? Would you wear a diaper?
No, you
just mess yourself?
You get like 10, 30, 40 seconds during a pit stop, I imagine. Sure. I know at least in my racing league, I've got 40 seconds.
If I had to, I get you're backing one out in 40 seconds.
No, I'm doing that in the morning.
Full process.
No, I'm just... Outside of that, I've got a Camelback or a water bottle with one of the straws that I can sip from. Got protein shakes or like Huel or a nutrition shake, a meal replacement shake. You got that. Those don't make your stomach feel the best, so then maybe you're looking at the Tums or two.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe you drank a zero sugar Dr. Pepper, strawberries and cream, and then you had your Huel. And it's just waste management down there. I don't know. Well, we'll have to see
the worst way possible and have you feed me mac and cheese while I'm driving.
Just here's spoon feed. Yep. Here comes the chooch.
Here comes the V12
in
turbo.
In VR, just accidentally shove the spoon down your throat.
Yep.
Come on. But yeah, if you would like to know more about that league, you can hop on over to the Midwest eSports Discord and join. Find community announcements up there in the general tab and join the North American Esports Coalition. Currently only at 7 members, and I'm sure after tonight that will grow significantly. So looking forward to see what the coalition can do over there.
You know what the main question is? Can you spectate in ACC?
You gotta be able to. Gotta be able to.
Can we do a 10-hour live stream from the studio?
Mitch
where you watch us delve
Nick
into madness with a real stage.
Nick and Mitch
at 10 hours
play virtual Monopoly while they have the race on in the background. Well, after a brief pit window at the halfway mark, we are back underway with our race leaders. GSR Edwin leading the pack yet again with race day. Got Palmer, Scarenzi, then T-Nell in the top 5. That has remained consistent. Aero Racing Design is back in the mix behind Callie Robb's Ferrari. He's looking to get back up into contention after a weird issue, spin out, whatever situation that he was going through here at the beginning of today's race. We have yet to see Electric Blade return, so we can only assume that Haas will be running just one car for the remainder of today's race. Again, that was not incident related. That was technical. Something went on and Electric was booted from the session. So sorry to hear that for the Haas Garage. That is an unfortunate snap there. Scavney receiving another 3-second time penalty. Not sure how many that is. Maybe if we have a minute, Mitch, if you want to take a look at the penalty times that are up on the clock right now. GSR Edwin setting fastest for a 128 that was just scooped by Scarenzi, hitting an even faster 128. I believe that was a 128.1. Scooped is the new word. Scooped. Scooped. S-Q-U-W-P-E-D. Scooped. We'll figure that out.
S-K-W-O-O-P-E-D.
There you go. Scooped.
Put it on a shirt.
Whoop. There it is. And there it is. Scavney, yeah, with 2. That was right. I did miss Caesar's third, though. Great coleslaw. Tack one on. There's 3 to you, too. We're Oprah. We're Oprah up in this piece tonight. You get a penalty, and you get a penalty. We're all getting penalties. Yeah, the broadcast quality has definitely gone up since we've started.
I think that's what happens when we have no safety cars.
It's weird.
In a race, we have no reprieve from watching the cars go around the track competitively.
Well, you gave me a reprieve there at the halfway point, so I'll give you one right now. Hey, viewers, if you think you have what it takes to join the grid, the Midwest GT7 divisions are looking for a few more drivers to fill out their upcoming seasons. These are all super fun divisions, and there are 3 separate divisions that you can choose from. Mondays will start the LMP division that will be specifically racing a sort of spec of the Mazda LM55. And again, that division will race Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central. We also have the Midwest Porsche Super Cup that will start Fridays at 8:30 Central, and GR3 will round out the week on Saturdays, also starting at 8:30 p.m. Central. Both of those divisions, the MW Porsche Super Cup and the GR3, have yet to start their season, so it is the perfect time to get your liveries looking sharp and sign up. Oh, hey, did I mention that the LMP and GR3 divisions will have prizes for the top 3 in driver standings at the end of the season? I mean, come on, with no entry fees and no parts and labor to worry about, what is there to lose? If you're ready for the challenge, you can sign up on the Midwest Discord server. They are a ton of fun. We talked about it in qualifying, but the Midwest Porsche Super Cup, we both raced the quick holiday session that they had, and it was an absolute blast to rip these Porsches around some iconic GT7 tracks.
Another beautiful ad read by you.
Hey, I still got it. Pew, pew. Can still write ads.
Did you write that one, or did you have our friend AI write that one?
No, I swear I wrote all of that.
I asked Pork, by the way, if ACC had a spectator mode, and he says he doesn't know, but Ghost might. So
Yeah.
I will find out.
I was going to say, we will find the answer to that one way or another.
Seems like something I would want to try once.
Yeah.
And then maybe
test. That is definitely a one-timer. I mean, we would have to have guests on. Like, we would have to
delivering the pizza midway through. Come on.
Honestly, like, you know, there's no way that you can just talk for 5 hours. Like, you would have to get up and take a 30-minute break or something just in the middle to, you know, regain sanity and have a guest come on. So maybe if Pork, are you going to race in this series, or are you going to be another commissioner kind of heading everything up there? Because if you're commish, there's definitely no excuse for you not to join the stream at that point. I'm calling you out. Calling him out.
I think I have that game from PlayStation Plus. That's too much, but I think I did download it once.
And speaking of folks who really help the action behind the scenes, thank you to our stewards, Pork Chops, Lancy, and Knuckles. our head D1 steward this season. Thank you to those three for doing the hard work, the heavy lift after the checkered flag is waved. Race day has dropped down into 6th place. He is in the pits, switching on to wets. Does Race Day know something that the rest of the pack has yet to discover? Is the rain getting worse throughout the session, so much so that 10 laps to go? Race Day thinks the strategy is a more aggressive wet tire. We'll have to see if this pays off for him. It's definitely going to help him in that what do you want to call it, squoopty corner. You know, was spun out on 3 or 4 times already. This one, boop, look at that, perfect. Yeah, can't beat that. Those wet tires. Is he the only one out there right now on wets?
He is.
Wow.
So,
okay.
I don't know if that was a mistake or not, or again, maybe the rain is coming a little bit harder on in this race.
Yeah.
Could be a gamble. I didn't check how many stops has he completed. His 2nd stop, and I think all the other drivers, will need to do one more stop. So I might just be hoping at this point. He's making the call at the right time.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll see if it pays off. Definitely a minority strategy there for Ferrari. Go figure. But look at this. Just under 1/10 with Aero Racing Design on wets. Race Day might be able to get by him. Will he see 7th place down this lap? It's going to be close. He might get him in this corner, though. Race Day takes the inside line of T1. It is not enough. Aero Racing gets the better of him there, but Race Day will have improved grip. Tries the inside, squeezes it out with a bit of a tail slide. Pushes Aero Racing into the sand. Wasn't sure if there was contact. It was so hard to see from our camera angle, but those two just went through. That might have been some dangerous flying, or that was one of the cleanest, scariest overtakes of the season.
And we also had, I think, Bobber Yates just said disconnect. Plum.
Yeah.
Maybe disconnected.
Yeah, we'll have to see. 6th place. Might see him really starting to bleed some time here as the AI holds it temporarily for him to try to rejoin the session. Cynical tacking on a penalty. What about that overtake, though? Race Day on Aero Racing Design coming in, really pushing, giving it full beans, taking the wide line, not only spinning out, pushing that tail end out, but also forcing Aero Racing Design, or at least encouraging Aero Racing Design off of the track. Aero Racing does like to take those corners wide, though, so that might have been a little. I'm not sure if it was an incident worth reporting or if that was just a weird racing moment. Mac still sitting in 11th. I believe that is 9 spots improved from his initial starting 10 now. That is 10 spots improved from his qualifying ban here in Portugal, starting from the back of the pack due to an accumulation of license points. Mac having a wonderful drive here as the fill-in for Nicky in that Alpine.
And I think they joked about a last to first earlier on. Probably a bit outside, off of the leader, 44 seconds, so I would say so. Never know what the safety car, though. I mean, that could bring it right back. It's still impressive, nonetheless, going all the way from 20th up to 10th.
Oh, no doubt about it. It does look like Plum was able to rejoin, thankfully, but Aero Racing Design did get the better of the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. Oh, and what is happening? Race Day looks to have left the session. That is a DNF. Was there... Yeah, there is a caution flag. What happened with Race Day?
Well, I saw in the chat that it said he disconnected. The Plums had also disconnected at some point, and then Race Day's car just went off completely. Or not went off. He is out. He's back, but at this point his car DNF'd. I didn't see what happened there.
Yeah, not sure. There was a caution that was now lifted. Race day DNF. Very interesting. Cody's, what you doing? How is this happening? What's going on? Sharia Coleslaw gets by Fireballer. I know that's going on. We may get some clarification here shortly from race day as to what is happening. Nope, just some expletives. Not happy with this game.
That's painful for both the drivers. Well, the drivers' championship specifically, race day, is in the lead at the moment. He's 11 points above Scarenzi, but constructors' championship too, Aston Martin could get both drivers with points.
Wow. Yeah, race day saying a preemptive congratulations to Scarenzi for the title, saying so unfair. Lancey, one of the stewards, commenting saying, just unlucky, man. Race day, it's over. It's actually over. Keep your head up, race day. We can't make the game any better than it already is, but there, you never know. You never know.
Same thing can happen next week, right?
Same thing can happen to Scarenzi next week.
In Monaco, so you truly never know.
You never know. Keep your head up. That was one hell of a run here in Portugal. Really thought race day was going to see a podium finish, but it is now Scarenzi in third place as he fights to get, he is definitely under 1 second behind Gott Palmer. Will he be able to close that gap and get up into at least second before the end of this race? We are now under 10 laps to go here in Portugal. The rain will not let up, but these drivers have seemed to find their groove, and you can see from the overhead that there is a significant dried portion of the track that these drivers have been favoring and will continue to favor through the race.
Yeah, we saw some passes attempted on the inside of the track there with all of the rain pulled up. And once you break away from the slipstream too, you're not going to gain any pace on the car in front of you.
Gott Palmer still holding Scarenzi to just half a second behind. Now on board with Mack as he looks to climb up into 8th place. He is quickly closing on Bobbert Yates. Will he be able to do it down this stretch? Mack started in 20th place. He is now fighting for 8th. Will he be able to do it on the inside of this corner? Not quite. He loses a bit to Bobbert Yates there, but there are many other opportunities here through the first 2 sectors, including this one. We'll see how Mack's luck fares through the deep dive, the plunging left-hand downhiller. There we go. Here they come. Bobbert Yates putting some time on Mack there, saying, no, not yet. You're okay. Stay right where you are.
He's just trying to prove it at this point and see how far he can sneak up there.
Hey, why not? The man's ranking up some LPPs this season, so he's definitely going balls to the wall in every race. Damned be the rules. We are just out here trying to go as fast as possible. I appreciate it. I appreciate the send.
Don't want to make this.
Do it. I don't even know what you're going to say.
Well, the caution flag flashed for a second. I didn't want to make this chance at this point, but what are you going to do with the extra 15 minutes we're going to have if this race finishes without any incidents?
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to bed, and
That's
I'm
fair.
going to be able to function tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. It's at this point where my coworkers, I do content creation for a living. So I am often on camera or making videos, all of that. This is a full-time job. But they know that Fridays are like the just don't talk to Nick day. He just needs to sit there and drink coffee and listen to loud, scary music to get through whatever he needs to get through. I might actually be a person tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. What about you?
Maybe the same thing. So I have an early morning meeting once a month on Fridays.
Wait, is it actually going to happen today?
What?
The early morning meeting tomorrow?
Oh yeah, no, this meeting always happens. The other thing,
Okay.
yeah, that was different. You learn
Okay,
from that.
fair. Boy, race day still giving it his all over in paddock chat. Really, really upset with the fact that he thinks the championship is out of his grasp. It's gone. There's nothing he can do at this point. I feel the rage. Get it all out tonight. Clear your head. Get back to racing next week. It is definitely not over. With 3 races to go, anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean,
It's rough.
I've had several races where, I've gained 2 positions on the last lap because the driver in front of me has, spun out or messed something up. So, I mean, that can happen over the season too, I guess is what I'm getting at, right? Like,
Yeah.
You just keep racing the best you can, and maybe week 14, 15, something crazy happens.
Absolutely. And, race day already a league winner, a champion here in Midwest. So definitely looking for the hardware. It's not like he's proving himself at this point. He's there. We know the name. We know the pedigree. But yeah, that is just the competitive spirit. I get it 100%. But hey, we'll see you next week.
He'll have the best villain arc if he can pull it off too, either this season or next season.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
That's like
anywhere.
The Lewis Hamilton, getting screwed on the final lap to lose the championship to Max. But then if next season Lewis actually came and won.
Right, exactly. And I really want to believe what I'm about to say next. It could happen. I really want to believe it. These Red Bulls are scary.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. We'll have our P1 chat after today's race. We have 3 laps to go, and the top of the pack looks pretty much the same as it's been this entire race. GSR Edwin, Gott Palmer, Scarenzi, and Tinel. Callie Robb in the mix as well. All of them have moved up 1 after race day's unfortunate DNF. And Era Racing Design has returned to his original starting position in 6th place after a really rubber bandy middle section of the race. He's been up, he's been back, he's been all over the place, just saying hi to everyone on the grid. But he's reclaimed his 6th place position. Scarenzi yet again trying to push on Gott Palmer. Getting under 3/10 here on the straight. So much speed. If you can get that final downhill, this straight, DRS or no, is always a cannon. Here we go into T1. Let's see what Scarenzi will be able to do. He is 1/10, 2/10 off of Gott Palmer. Trying to take the inside here, trying to find a way in. Gott Palmer knows how to play defense and is keeping that green machine at bay. We'll see how they fare heading downhill. I believe this is the first on board we've had down this section. There we go. Gott Palmer just expertly closing off that inside line, keeping that car fairly centered to keep Scarenzi in his place. And here we go, as we've seen in the previous laps. This is where that lead increases.
That's
Palmer.
the corner that always gets me when we race.
Yeah.
With that raised inside curb.
Uphill.
Screw uphill right turn, but you're braking. Just always oversteer on it.
Yeah, every single time. Just this is a tough track. And it's one that after watching 33 laps of it, I'm really going to want to load this into the game and start racing this one because it looks like a ton of fun to drive. I'll probably set my conditions to dry, but fun nonetheless. And I'm sure I'll spin nonetheless.
This last corner reminds me of last corner of Barcelona.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Except it goes uphill after you finish, but the way it kind of swoops and straightens out.
Yeah.
Very much like Barcelona.
It is such a wide out there. We saw a wonderful overhead of Aero Racing earlier in the race where, if you hit that with speed, you can just, skate those two tires on the white line to keep it just in. You can just slingshot yourself through that final corner. Here we go, though. Will they? No, they won't.
Everyone's got a lap and a half left to try and take second place from Gott Palmer. I don't believe anyone will be taking first from GSR Edwin unless something crazy happens. He is 9 seconds ahead of second place.
Absolutely commanding performance here from GSR Edwin today. He was a bit shaky there and threw a couple of them, but he persisted and is going to find his way to a first place finish if he is just able to keep that car between the white lines for 2 more laps here, lap and a half. The pack is pretty ironed out. I mean, we have Sharia Coleslaw under a second, we have Scarenzi under a second, and that's about it. Everyone else looks pretty solidified in their spots. We do have a caution in Sector 1. It's right at turn 1, but it looks like that has been waved off. Not sure what was going on there, but thankfully the back to pack has cleared it up. We may see some blue flags here on the final lap as our race leaders appear to be maybe catching up.
Looks like he's pulled over. It was Scavney who went astray or awry in the finish line straight, but he is back driving on track. Let Scarenzi and Gott Palmer through, which got back on track in enough time because it was a little bit tricky. Ellie also bringing up a great point that we failed to grasp. Gott Palmer has a penalty and Scarenzi does not, so Scarenzi is in second place if those penalties stand.
Ellie, we're going to send you a link for the live stream next race, and you will have to be our trackside just to scoop up all of the points and highlights of the race that we've missed because we're vamping about drinking zero sugar sodas and talking about going to bed early. Thank you.
Cookie, by the way.
Did you?
Yep.
Did you get it in? I didn't even hear you. That's amazing.
Doing your ad read. I knew ahead of time. GSR Edwin, though, is coming across the finish line to take home his first victory since the end of last season, October 12th. He won the grand finale in Bahrain and the race 2 weeks before that in Brazil, which was an excellent last-second overtake. But he is back on top.
And there's our trackside analyst, Ellie, pointed out expertly in the last lap of the race. Scarenzi moves ahead of Gott Palmer to secure second place for Aston Martin as a result of Gott Palmer's early penalties. Track limits there are A, B. I don't care who you are. Track limits will find you. They will get you.
And we'll probably see maybe 1 or 2 other shakeups at the very end. We have Sharia Coleslaw chasing down Bobby Yates, but he has a penalty as well.
Look at these penalties.
Fireballer is a 3-second gap off of Sharia Coleslaw, so if he can keep it within 3 seconds, he will move up into 10th.
Here we go. All eyes on Fireballer. Mitch, charge your controllers. What are we doing over there? There he goes. Fireballer gets through 10th place over Sharia Coleslaw. Hey, guess what? Them penalties, they gonna get you.
They always find you.
They always find you. So there we have it. A rather exciting wet race from Portugal. There wasn't a ton of movement, but there was a ton of action out on track today. And GSR Edwin, like we said, just putting on a clinic here in the wet. Driver of the day, well-deserved, goes to Mac. Came from a qualifying penalty, starting him in the back of the grid, moving all the way up into, did he make it into top 15?
Who?
Mac.
Oh, he was up in 8th.
Oh my god.
Round 8th by the end. He moved up 12 positions roughly. We'll see here at the very end what The final one was. Last I checked, he was up in 8th.
Killing the game. Absolute menace. But we will likely have Nikki returning next week for the next contest. Drivers all celebrating their well-deserved champagne after this race. Yeah, look at that. Mac up into 8th place, starting from 20. That is a feat.
Yeah, that's just incredible. Even if you are a good racer and start down in 20th, being able to get through that many cars in the rain, impressive race, and looking forward to see what else he has in this league.
Hey, I'm looking forward to next week because it takes us to the one, the only, everyone's favorite. It's Baku.
Is it? Did I misread that?
Oh,
yes.
Sure
no, wait. Yes, no, they haven't updated. So, Baku, right? Azerbaijan?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
That one's
We
gonna
have
be fun.
castle corners. We have just all of it. It is, I think it's my favorite track.
I think
overall.
we got to do what? Over, under 2.5 accidents in the castle corner.
I'm going to say under. I'm going to be,
I'll go over then.
very, very optimistic
I'll
and
do
say
it.
everyone will be able to handle the castle corner. But that's not saying that we won't see a ton of penalties and safety cars next week as well. It's always a fun one. Portugal was quite the spectacle as well. That's going to do it for today's contest. We may have different standings at the start of next week's race. We will cover all of that moving and grooving that the steward reports and the findings may bring through the week. But that is going to do it here from Portugal. Week 12 is in the books. Only 3 races remain in the season: Baku, Singapore, and Bahrain. It is a sprint to the end, and it is still anyone's guess as to who will be wearing the crown of Drivers' Champion at the end of season 11. Thank you very much to our executive producers, Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and Mama Bell, along with co-producers Killa Vapor and Captain Snowbeard and Kirsten, and our fans and Fans Plus over here on the Nick and Mitch YouTube channel. All of their monthly contributions help to get us all of the graphics on screen here, all of the wonderful production that we are able to give you on a weekly basis. So thank you very much for your support. If you would just like to support the channel at the freest, most basic level, you can click subscribe right down below, and you're going to see and hear this notification during the broadcast. So please give that a try and give us a little fun reprise from what could be another penalty, yellow flag-less race next week in Azerbaijan. Unlikely, but again, you never know what could happen. Thank you very much for watching, sticking with us. We started with less than 9 viewers, and we're finishing with that. So I call that a win for the night. Enjoy the early end to tonight's race. Mitch, anything?
You covered everything. Thank you.
Hey, no worries. It's time.
What was that?
Okay, it looks like that they use that this Video Ninja is based on the Chrome, the Google Meets extension, because when I put a thumbs up, it'll do that, and I think I can get a heart as well. Yeah, maybe that's just my Mac.
I think that's your webcam.
That's probably the webcam. All right.
Now
Well,
I
hey,
just look silly.
does point do anything? I think I can raise my hand. Is it? All right. Well, hey, thumbs up for today's race. We'll see you in same place, same time next week for week 13 of season 11 of MidWest eSports Formula 1 Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. Have a great night, everyone. See ya.